Greetings, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to what's probably part one of the World Whale Day 2022 video, in which we're going through whale-themed books and things, the literary set of World Whale Day stuff. Just as a thing, it was started in, I believe, 1980, originally in Maui, and has since expanded into a world thing, initially for just humpback whales, and again, now for a lot of them. For the purposes of video, just to illustrate, we've got toothed whales, and we've got baleen whales. The majority of what's going to be discussed is, like, we've got the sperm whale, like Moby Dick, the orca here, some dolphins, the humpback whale, the right whale or bowhead whale. Which one? The fin whale down here, and the blue whale down at the bottom. So, yeah. And with that, let's get into the video. Alright, so just a real quick run through for anyone who doesn't want any spoilers for these. Alright, so we've got A Whale of the Wild by Roseanne Perry from 2020. Essentially, orca and orca family trying to navigate natural disasters and pollution and linguistic barriers with other species and other pods from different regions, because regional dialects are a thing for whales. For that one, 4.75 stars. Yeah. The next one, Ice Whale by Jean Craighead George, from 2014. It was her last novel. The same author who did the Julie of the Wolves series and My Side of the Mountain, which were personal favorites. It talks about bowhead whales or right whales. Northern right whales, yeah. And whaling and the impacts of whaling on both the whales themselves and indigenous communities, and focuses on the relationship between one particular whale named Siku and the lineage of a particular family and how they interact as the family tries to keep him safe in a wildly changing social, political, environmental climate. For Ice Whale, it was 4.25 stars. We'll go with that. Then we've got Moby Dick by Herman Melville in 1851. It's 4.5 stars. Talking about the sperm whale. And it's an epic. I don't know how many pages it is, but it's 24 hours and a bit. So there's a lot of random side tangents in there, which I appreciate. I really do. Mostly because all of them have to do with whales, cultural idiosyncrasies, random archaeological things, and maritime history. So, very much of interest. And it follows Ishmael and, to a lesser extent, Queequeg, two of the main folks, and interactions and stuff with the other people on the Pequot, specifically Captain Ahab, and there is a lot of like discussions of racism and period expected, I suppose, mentions of savages and cannibals and the heretics of the sea and whatnot. But Melville also kind of turns it around and uses the same language to describe the white sailors as is initially used for the non-white sailors. So that's something. But overall, it's really well done. Just be aware that there's very graphic depictions of whaling and all that entails. Then we've got Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell from 1960. Gave this one 4 stars. And we've got mentions of dolphins and others. Mostly it's dolphins and otters. And seals. It sounds like elephant seals. And I know there have been elephant seal populations on San Nicolas. So we'll go with that. But it's mostly to do with Karana, who's the main character, who happens to be on the island of the Blue Dolphins, aka San Nicolas Island. And it's kind of a journey of going from young adulthood to adulthood by herself in an isolated area on an island and trying to find some kind of sense of community in an otherwise very isolated area and find beauty and everything in nature and her traditions, even though she's just there by herself, essentially. So, but it's really well done. So yeah, 4 stars on that one. And then we've got Fathoms, The World and the Whale by Rebecca Giggs, 2020. And it's a focus on like all cetacean species, really. Specifically those impacted by whaling and pollution. So I don't know if it's picking up, but my cat's out there just like, Arr! So we'll go out in a minute or so and give her a snuggle. Anyway, so particular focus was on humpback, sperm, and bowhead whales for the majority, but all are mentioned and represented. And of the lot of them, this is the only, well, there's 2 that are nonfiction. This is the first one and the biggest. And it's from the perspective of someone in the Southern Hemisphere, specifically Australia. The rest of them, I believe, are all American authors. And it goes through the history of whaling and how it relates to both alterations in population density and impacts on whale linguistics, and how that's connected to indigenous communities and everything of that nature. I would highly recommend that one. Like, really highly recommend that. So yeah, that one gets 5 stars. The Music of Dolphins by Karen Hess was from 1996. It talks about dolphins, specifically a kid who was essentially raised by dolphins from probably about age 2 or 3 to age 15 or 16, sort of, maybe. There's never a actual discussion on how old she is or how long she was with the dolphins, just that she was very young when the supposed plane that she may or may not have been on went down, and that, quote, her height and body development suggested a girl somewhere between the ages of 11 and 16. So, make of that what you will. I had a lot of issues with this, mostly because, like, I know part of it was how it was read for the narration. Yeah, no. But also, instead of having a consistent voice, and having that consistent voice trying to learn another language and having, like, the frustrations and stuff and simplistic speech and having, like, a very basic vocabulary, like you would expect for someone learning a language. Instead, you're following the internal monologue the entire time, and the entire internal monologue goes between being very complex at the start and then very simplified and very infantilizing as it goes, and like it gets a little bit better and then just drops off, which I know is meant to say something about, like, both the mental state of the person involved and their abilities, but it does not sit well at all. So this one, it gets 2 stars for having a pretty decent description of dolphin family dynamics and things like that, but overall, this one gets a 2 on me. For me. From me? From me, yeah. This one gets a 2 from me. And then we've got Song for a Whale by Lynn Kelly from 2019. And in this, we're talking about a bluefin whale. So a fin whale and a blue whale hybrid who can't communicate with any other whales because for some reason his song is at a different pitch. And he sings at 55 hertz, and the rest of the whales, even if they could understand what he's saying, essentially, are at a higher or lower pitch, depending on the species. And our main character, Iris, is deaf, and because she knows what it feels like to not be able to talk to people or to have trouble talking to people. She wants to help him and wants to figure out a way to get something or make something that would let him know that he's not alone, that someone is listening to a song. And this one this touches all of the chords. This whale of a tale here. Would highly recommend. The library currently doesn't have an Audible or an audio copy of this, but I found it on Audible and very, very happy. That, and just extra props for the narrator on that one, right? Like, you can hear the emotion in their voice, and it's just so great. So yeah, this one would be like a 5.5 star for me. Like, on the normal scale, 5 stars. On like the extra super awesome scale, 5.5 stars. So there's that. And then we've got Whales by iMines from 2009. That it's a really short, pretty decent whale primer sort of thing. 4 stars. And it's pretty good. I don't know if there is a text copy version, but that was one that it was free on Audible, so yeah. So yeah. All that said and done. Very cool. I don't know, I might end up making this into 2 separate videos. We'll see. I don't know. One with like the full thing and one with just like the non-spoiler version. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll do that. Because the full discussion ones, like, there was 7 pages of notes, and I recorded about 2 hours. So, there's that. Anyway, that being said, thank you for having a day. Wow, okay. Thank you for hanging out and participating in the World Whale Day shenanigans. I appreciate it, and there's going to be some more stuff with that. Anyway, that being said, have a fabulous rest of your day. I will see you all later, and have a good one, everybody. All the links and everything are down in the description below, and if you want to be notified when I upload something, hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon next to it. Like, you know, the full discussion themes of all of the things. So, yeah. That being said, have a good one. I will see you later. Bye, everybody.